Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of the AngryRagdoll Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Busy, and today is January 29th, 2013. Now, just before we start off with this week's podcast, just going to talk a little bit about what this podcast is. So generally, YouTube channels that are game-related contain walkthroughs and Let's Plays. This channel will be different. It'll contain a podcast. This is the podcast you're listening to now. It's the AngryRagdoll Podcast. Usually, this will be every week. Sometimes it'll be on and off. If there's something special, let's say like PAX or E3, then I'll make it sometimes 2 or 3 times a week if there's really a lot of news to cover. Like I said, this will be once a week, something like that. And most of the time I'll be by myself, but there will be a couple of times where I'll be joined by my friends and co-hosts on the podcast. So let's head on to this week's news. Okay, so we all know and we've all heard about Terra going free to play, and I don't really think I need to talk about what Terra is. I think a lot of gamers who are listening to this podcast right now already know what Terra is. So on February 1st, Terra will be going free to play. Finally, I think we've all anticipated and wanted it to become free to play ever since it came out. And there are 3 tiers, also known as 3 packs. So there's the Founder and the Elite and the Standard pack. And this is something they're doing that didn't happen with Star Wars: The Old Republic when it went free to play. So the Standard pack is your normal, MMO Terra free offering. And then there's the Elite, which is the $14.99 per month subscription fee. And then you have the Founder pack, which is pretty much you get it by buying and redeeming a copy of the game, and it's pretty much good for life. So that's what happened with Guild Wars 2. You just go buy the actual box, you install the game, and you have it free for life, no monthly subscription. And there are, of course, like most free-to-play games or games that are going free-to-play, going to be a lot of restrictions and limitations. So I'm just going to read here the limitations. So this includes character slots. You can only have 2 per server, but of course you can purchase more. Bank slots, which I don't really know. I haven't really tried out Terra yet. I will try it and play it when it's going to go free-to-play. But it says here the bank slots, 72 with the option to purchase more, and various brokerage fees and taxes. So these are only a couple of the limitations. Now I will go to the things that aren't limited, and that's a very big part of the game. So what's not limited are races, classes, and content limitations. So that means storyline, side quests, lore, everything that has to do with that. And this is actually the first game that I've seen going free to play that hasn't restricted race, class, or any content limitation. Although when Star Wars: The Old Republic did go free to play, there were a ton of content limitations, and also with the race and class, you can only have 3 races. And although they did take out some restrictions, not everything. I mean, there's still a ton of restrictions and limitations. The only thing that's 100% not restricted is a storyline, and the guys behind Terra are doing a very good job with that. They're just leaving the races and classes and all the content that comes with the game. And the head producer of the game also said in a video that he wants all the players to be equal. And there's a very big problem when a game which you pay or a subscription fee or just you buy for life and then goes free to play. So you always have the guys who are the people who are always gonna buy the game and play it with a subscription, and then there's gonna be the guys are gonna start playing the game once it goes free to play. And the problem is most of these MMOs, taking Terra's example, contain a lot of PvP and PvP heavy raids and dungeons and things like that. Once you have someone who's already had their subscription for a year per se, and he's got all the good gear and you can actually get in the game, and you have him fighting against someone who only started playing when the free-to-play version released, and he doesn't have anything because he has restrictions, and that can be very unfair. But as we know for now, this can maybe change in the future. There is no actually going to be content limitations, so that means no gear, and everyone's going to be hopefully equal. There will be a cash up for the free to play players, and that's a very good segue actually, because the Elder Scrolls Online, which again we've probably all heard about. It's the next game in the Elder Scrolls series, so they're taking a break from single player action, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, and they're going online. We don't know if it's going to be free to play or not. Hopefully, it will be free to play, and of course, if it will have its limitations, or it will be maybe like what Guild Wars did, where they make you buy the box for once, and that's it. Anyways, the Elder Scrolls Online now, you can sign up now for the beta. And I've already signed up. There have been millions of people who've already signed up. I mean, they're having probably an overload. Just a little small thing, a small topic. So go sign up for the beta. We all hope, like I said, it's going to be free to play because, hey, everything's good when it's free. And so our next topic is Age of Wushu. So this today we're talking about a lot about free MMOs and MMORPGs in general. It's not gonna be like that next time, but that's the major breaking news in the gaming industry. So Age of Wushu. So if you guys do not know what Age of Wushu is, it's an MMORPG. It's gonna be free to play, and it's published by Snail Games USA, which have published other games. I'm not really gonna get into that, but it's based around the lore of the Asian lore. So that means a kung fu, running on water or jumping midair. And if you look on the website, they have you can get an early start pretty much with your Wushu Destiny. And we're just going to read off here. So now available for pre-order is the 60 days of VIP access, which means you can log off and your character lives on. That means he keeps on gaining experience and earns money and more. And this happens, of course, all the time while you are away from the game. $15 worth of virtual items and upgrades fortify your character. Full access to the second closed beta of Age of Wushu, special events and sweepstakes. So now it started off in closed beta. You can go out and buy the physical copy of the game. Like I said, get an early start with your game. And the total value of this deluxe edition is more than double the purchase of the price, which is $19.99. But of course, with the start of the beta, which started December 20th already, it's been a very long beta. All registered players can explore the Age of Wushu for free, and it's for a limited trial basis. So you get 10 hours of free play, and with 60 minutes per day. Now this, of course, we've talked a lot about content limitations. I mean, we've seen a lot of MMOs lately going with a lot of limitations and strict players who aren't buying the game or have any sort of subscriptions. Now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the game. It looks very nice. There is no classes or levels, so you can pretty much choose from an extensive collection of martial arts, collection of types of martial arts, and you can develop and improve, of course, your own unique combat style. So you can pretty much log off and your character lives on, and he can have new adventures, wealth, and surprises await you upon your return. And then there's the new innovative combat and the make a name for yourself, where you can pretty much become a leader of a martial arts schools, seize a territory for your guild, and choose your own destiny within the Age of Wushu. And so that's pretty much the equivalent of building guilds and PvP in game. Also, a very big thing is where you can choose your professions. That includes being a painter, musician, and a blacksmith. So Age of Wushu, the only bad thing about it is it will be delaying its launch till spring 2013. So that's it pretty much for the breaking news of the Angry Ragdoll. In the last segment here, I'm usually gonna read out questions from you guys, from listeners. So I'm gonna ask myself, what's the best game I've ever played, and what's the game I've actually started off with. So I'm gonna start off with the second question. So the game I started off with was, of course, Age of Empires One, which was published actually. I don't remember, a couple of years ago, well into 2003, 2004. And that's really what happened. I started off playing RTS games and really moved on to FPS games, and now I'm really into the MMO online games, half and half right now. And now I'm gonna answer the first question. So the game I enjoyed the most was a Halo Combat Evolved. If you guys do not know, that's the very first Halo that ever came out. It was originally for PC, and also only when the first Xbox came out. And it's not really because of the graphics and how it looks. I really don't care. I'm not really a graphics person. Because only until now I really had a bad computer, so I really don't care, and I'm not really a console person. But the storyline was amazing. Also, I am going to add to my answer that Far Cry 3, which was also an amazing game. It really is one of the only games that I was shocked about in a good way. The storyline was amazing, and it really was an amazing game. So that's it for this week's episode. It has been episode 1 of the Angry Ragdoll Podcast. I'm Mr. Busy, your host. Join me next time. Maybe we will have someone else on the show to talk with me. But until then, I'll see you guys later.